car jaune, the yellow coaches. The bus station's right on the coast, so it's a very nice area to be, I must say. The coast, very accessible for walking. There's that headland again that you could see from the view that Basil put on from my hotel there. Some reminders of the past. And statues, very topical, aren't they? This one as well. There have been some calls for this one to be removed for the same reason that others have been tossed in the river in Britain and all sorts of controversy in all parts of the world. This is a former governor of the island, and he profited from slave trading, and he used slaves to build some of the public works on the island. But as far as I know, the statue's still there. I haven't heard any news about it being toppled. No slavery links here, as far as I know, and it's a name a lot of you would know, Roland Garros, one of France's aviation pioneers. He was born here in Saint-Denis, Réunion. I had a chance to get to a service at the cathedral. And there was a type of fun run happening on the same day. And it wasn't just a run, as you can see there. One of the many groups of winners. And heading off after the event with the prize that you might be able to see clutched in one of the runner's right hand, the right hand of one of the runners. The former town hall in the capital, Saint-Denis, and it was in this street that a lot of the running took place. It's one of the main streets of Saint-Denis, and obviously with that colonial heritage, as a lot of the island has. So, time to move on from the capital there. You see our sign. We're heading towards the west, and I hope in my unclear thinking sometimes of presentation, I may get the directions wrong, but we're definitely heading west here. There's the viaduct that I mentioned. I'm on the current road there. There's actually quite a distance. You can't actually see it from that slide, but there is quite a distance between where I was and where those cars are and the viaduct. The viaduct is actually out in the sea a little bit. The replacement for the road that I was on, it's a 12-kilometre road. And viaduct. I think that'd be a combined total of about 12 kilometres, mostly to overcome the problems of the current road with boulders falling down and all sorts of traffic jams that may or may not be related to that. The works are a long way behind schedule, and the latest estimate for that 12-kilometre section is about 12 billion euros. Closer look at it, some of the construction before we move on to Saint Paul. And there it is, we've arrived in Saint Paul. I'll say the names in French because that's what they were, and I must admit, when I say St Denis, it doesn't quite sound right. I'm afraid I don't even know who St Denis was, but some of you people might. Thanks, Basil. Have you ever had a feeling of buildings looking at you? I did. Creative use of some of the vegetation, local vegetation, and some chili harvesting. This was a path that I thought I'd follow because I didn't really know the area. I don't think I'd read much about it before I I went, so most of what you've just seen, what you're about to see, was quite a discovery. That's the path, still definitely worth it. And seeing a mountain biker coming round a bend at quite a speed towards me was a bit of a surprise. And I was possibly on the wrong side of the road anyway, the wrong side of the track by European standards. He yelled out something, but he was so fast I didn't hear what it was, but I did manage to get a photo. I don't know how that happened. Getting higher now. And time for some reflection on the way. Or at least for some people. This is a relatively flat area just before the top of that path, had a few huts on it, and I think they're probably used for occasional events of some sort. And that flattish area overlooks quite a deep gorge, and the picture doesn't really bring it out as it was. It was quite spectacular. This was the day that I decided to take a tour. It was the easiest way of getting to some of the places I wanted to see, including the volcanic area. And so I'm heading south from St. Paul, which was sort of northwestish. So we've started to go south now along quite a spectacular coast. Some more scenery in the same general area, but not without its risks, unfortunately. Lots of walking and biking opportunities, plenty of paths and good maps. Now we've gone right down into the south west to another large city called St. Peter, I will translate that one, to quite a famous building. It's a covered market. And as you can see, it's a bit different to our southwest. I hope ours never gets to anything like that. Certainly won't in our time. It's a city with lots of options, Saint-Pierre. And there was an army display going on the day that I was there, with lots happening. And yeah, we'll go to a place now called Saint Suzanne. And I'll speak a bit more about that when we get to the next one. An old railway tunnel, very close to the coast here. So we've gone right up north and we've started to go east from there. Pleasant coastal scenery. And a shady place for some meditation by the looks of that person. The old lighthouse. I think these were mangoes in a cemetery, as you can see on the left there. This caught my eye in the next town, and yes, it is another saint, the name of a saint, Saint Andre, this one. And I thought we should have a bit of a quick look at some of the food industries and start with a sugar refinery. And yes, it is another saint's town, Saint Louis. I took that one from the bus, so it isn't all that clear. And as you can see, I took that one from the bus too, a different bus, and there definitely wasn't a lot of room between the bus that I was on and the truck carrying the sugarcane. With all that sugar around, it's not surprising that rum's a fairly important industry. the distillery, part of it. And vanilla is another important product of the island. In fact, Reunion's one of the biggest producers, world producers. This was the first plantation that I visited. You can see the vines very clearly there. And close up, and I wonder whether any of the vanilla from that particular plantation was sent to the local chocolate factory. I did get a chance to try a number of the chocolates, brought a couple back. One of my students even put in an order for one, so that came back quite safely too. And there is one chocolate that's chocolat vanille bourbon, made with the vanilla from the island. It was worthwhile going on a tour in that particular plantation, and one of the family members of the family that run the plantation was showing us how to pollinate the vanilla flower, a very intensive process, as you probably know, and that's what makes vanilla such an expensive product. That gives you a bit more detail of the flower. The cultivation at the next plantation that I went to was a bit different. You can see at the base, around the base of the plants, that everything was a little bit differently done. Even the plants themselves had a different sort of growth. And part of the 2019 harvest, and it's organic, as you can see from the sign, bio. Okay, we're finally getting into the interior now, and I won't comment for the next 12 slides. I'll let Basil just flip them through at a pace that suits him. As long as it's not his legendary bushwalking pace, I'll let him just flip them through, and we'll see how we go. You can see somebody, I said I wouldn't comment, but you can see somebody working in the ground down below there. Okay. Right, I think we might be up to the villages ones now, Basil, by the looks of things. So I thought we could have a bit of a closer and distant look at some of the aspects of the villages. Some pretty impressive landforms. Same thing in a different mood. The main town in the area. one of the many baguette lovers walking past a bit of history. Some serious walkers getting ready for one of the many walks in the area. I didn't do any walking there, but I'd like to go back and do some time when I'm not so dependent on buses and tours. Yes, you can see here how much of an influence the topography has on where the towns and villages are built. Some of the crops very close to that area, and they include lentils. And this is the last slide. It's the church in the main town, and it's probably a good chance for me to tell you how thankful I am to God that I was able to go on that trip last year. And it's probably a good time to thank you for listening and watching. May even inspire you to go there sometime. And as I said, I'd certainly like to go there again. Enjoy the rest of the show.